I wasn't going to do any videos tonight, but there was something that just frosted my ass that I saw on my Facebook feed. And apparently, Biden, before I talk about this smug little creep here, President-elect Biden, as everybody knows, fractured one of his ankles today while playing with his dog, and he had a hairline fracture instead of a sprain, and that's kind of similar to what I had back in 2016. And he, like I did, he will have to wear a boot for several weeks. And of course, what happened in my case is I was selected as a delegate to the National Convention then, but I had to bow out because I was all laid up in a boot. So anyway, so Biden is going to be hobbling around for the next few weeks. But somehow he decided to name this guy who's the University of Pennsylvania, of course an Ivy Leaguer, and his name is Ezekiel Emanuel, and he's known as Zeke for short. And if that last name Emanuel sounds familiar, there's a reason for it. He's the brother of Rahm Emanuel. Don't you just love nepotism? But Rahm Emanuel had a big job with the Obama administration. Of course, he and Obama went way back to their days in Chicago. And later, or before, I think later, he became mayor of Chicago. Rahm Emanuel did, and he was a total ass. He was one of these asshole education reformers who thought he thought he knew more than the teachers did. And he was not very well loved by the teachers in Chicago. But this one is even more outrageous. This brother, a few years ago, he talked about, and of course he's a smug son of a bitch. He figured people who were 75 years old, he didn't think that anybody had a life worth living. And that's not an ethicist. That's a fucking eugenicist. He's a piece of shit. And as far as I'm concerned, he has less of a life worth living than anybody over 75 does, because he's a piece of shit. He's a stupid piece of shit. He reminds me of that damn governor, whatever the damn hell his name was, Richard Lamb of Colorado. Let me look that bastard up. I always hated him. And he was a Democrat too. But he thought old Richard Lamb, he thought old people should just die and get out of the way. This son of a bitch is 85 years old, and he doesn't plan to get out of the way anytime soon. So he was a piece of crap. Couldn't stand him. Disgrace to the Democratic Party as far as I'm concerned. And this thing is no better. Well, actually, this one's worse because he goes around and parades he's an ethicist. But he's a eugenicist is what he is. But yeah, he wrote a damned article a few years ago. Why I hope to die at 75. Now, how much longer does this asshole have to live anyway? I'm just going to call him Zeke. It's just a lot easier. Oh, and of course he went to Harvard and Amherst and University of Oxford. Yeah, he's a genius. Sure he is. He's getting up there. Look at this. He was born in 1957. So this guy has, well, let's see, I'm 65, he's 63. So he's got 12 more years before he's going to cut, presumably he's going to cash in his chips and going to do away with himself. So, anyhow, let's see. Emanuel Well, where the hell is it? It's the son of that. Yeah, Rahm is his brother. Ari is another one, too. Yeah, Rahm, he was a dipshit. And then Ari, what the hell does Ari do? Oh, well, he's in private sector, so he's not going to hurt anybody. But Rahm is younger than Zeke. So Zeke is the oldest of the three brothers. And he's an oncologist. So can you imagine if you had cancer or something, what this guy would tell you? And if you're over 75, can you imagine what this jerk would tell you? Here's a pill. Get lost. You're too old. Get out of the way. And then, can you imagine? Now, and the irony is he's gonna work for 78-year-old Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, hell, he ought to already be dead. According to this dickhead, he should already be dead. And it's a good thing Biden doesn't use use Zeke as his own, whatever you want to call it, his own personal physician, because old Zeke he'd be worse than any veterinarian having to put down a racehorse. He'd euthanize Joe Biden for fracturing his goddamn ankle. Of course, they usually save racehorses if they have just a hairline fracture. But hell, old Biden, no. He would euthanize him. So this dick is going to be, and I'm sorry I'm using foul language. I'm not really sorry. But, you know, I don't want this guy anywhere near a COVID-19 advisory board. You know he would be into triage and all this other shit. And at least there's other people that can hopefully can counter this crap. But, I mean, really, old Zeke actually would have been a better fit for Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump just wanted people to just, you know, up and die. And let herd immunity take over, which, of course, didn't happen. This guy would be a better fit. Instead of an administration that supposedly wants to save lives. This son of a bitch and kill people off. Yeah, he's on my shit list. So that's all I'm going to say tonight.